This is a short tutorial to explain different ways that you could use FlipGrid in the ELA classroom. I'm sure that many of you have probably heard of FlipGrid before. Maybe some of you even tried using FlipGrid before, but hopefully by the time you're finished watching, you will feel comfortable and confident creating an account and using this program in your classroom. So if you haven't heard of FlipGrid before, FlipGrid is a way to create a video platform that you can share with your students. Students can respond to you with videos, and they can also respond to each other. The other thing that's really nice about this program is that you can determine the audience. You could just share it with one class, you could share it with all of the sections of your class, or you could even connect with another classroom in our district, in our state, or outside of that. So the possibilities for collaborating and sharing with FlipGrid are really endless. If you're not sure why you should use FlipGrid, one of the benefits is that it really encourages collaboration. It's a great tool for formative assessment, so you can ask your students a quick question and they can respond with a video. It is a way to address speaking and listening standards, of course, and best of all, it's free and fun. So I'm going to show you a few ways that I've used FlipGrid in my classroom, and then I am going to show you how you can create your own account. So this is my view of FlipGrid as a teacher. I can see all of the different grids that I've created for student use, but I'm going to start off by showing you a student view, and what I'm going to do is take a look at one way I've used this, which is to provide book recommendations. So to view the grid as a student, I'm going to click on the code. It will ask me to log in as well. As I'll show you in a few moments, our FlipGrid is synced with Microsoft, so it's super easy to sign in. And then you can see the grid, which is what the students would see. If you just simply share the links on your PowerSchool site or another teacher page, the students can access the grid easily. So I am going to just show you the topic, dystopia. So all of my students who were reading dystopian books had a chance to share and create a book review here on FlipGrid. So I am going to show you Cody's, who was reading a book called The Uglies.
Hello, the book I read was called Uglies by Scott Westerfield. The story mostly takes place in a secret land where people don't have the operation called the smoke. Tally is the main character, and when her best friend Shay runs away to the smoke, she has to choose if she wants to turn pretty like every other normal person or tattle on her best friend.
So as you could see, Cody then was able to personalize her video. She could add in some stickers, some sketches, just like anytime that the students use Snapchat. So they really seem to like that a lot. This next video is an example of a student response, which students can then go in and respond to the videos that they've watched.
Listening to King's response, I want to read this book. I'd say the way he said it made me think of Harry Potter meets the Hunger Games. So I think I will read it. Thank you. Goodbye.
So you could see that the student was able to share his reaction, and it's really fun for the students to have this collaborative conversation back and forth. The next way that I'm going to show you to use FlipGrid would be for formative assessment. So another grid that I created was related to digital citizenship, and we were talking about ways to be sure that you are using the internet responsibly. So here were some quick responses from my students on that.
Remember, everything that you post online is permanent.
So a really quick way to check for understanding, to see are they grasping the topic, and see if their responses are appropriate. So there are many different ways that you could use this tool. Hopefully you have some ideas, but now I would like to show you how you can create your own account and get started with FlipGrid. So you would just go to flipgrid.com, and since we have a Microsoft account, you could just click on Sign Up Today. And then you can just click on that button to sign up with Microsoft. I'm obviously already a user, so I'm just going to sign in again. And now that I'm signed in, I'm going to click on this button that says New Grid. Once I'm there, I am going to select a community type. I usually select school email domain. That way I can make sure that students have access to the grid through a secure site like our school email addresses. If you were sharing it with another classroom who uses a different domain, you would just want to check with those teachers. So I'm going to click there, and then I'm just going to name this test since this is just a test grid. It does allow you to personalize it in a fun way if you choose to. And then I'm going to click on Next. Now this is the place where you would need to add your domain and your student's domain. So I'm going to first put in at wtps.org. That would allow any teacher in the district to access the grid. And then I'm going to add at students.wtps.org. So that will allow my students to click to access the grid. Then I'm going to launch the grid. All set. If you would like to create a specific topic, you can. It also gives you the default option for your students to give introductions. But when you're ready to share your grid with your students, all you need to do is click on this button that says Share Grid. You could share it with your class, or you could post the link. I typically just copy and paste that link and post it to my teacher page on PowerSchool, which is where my students access links, but you could post that anywhere that your students access links. And then when the students are ready and they want to create a post, they would sign in as well. And once the students are signed in, it's time for them to create a post. So they would just click on this green plus sign. And they would have to typically click on a button that says Allow Camera. And from there, they would be good to go to create their video. You could choose to approve it if you want to check out student responses before they show up, or you can just trust your students and have all the responses show up in one place. But it really is a great way to increase engagement, to get students collaborating, sharing books that they're reading, practicing speaking and listening skills. So hopefully you will consider trying out FlipGrid.